have joined me on this wonderful Armenia Eve game, lads. Martin, looking well in your prefab office.
Prefab office.
Looks
Jesus.
like looks like your sort of generic English office space.
Got my St. Patrick's Day blue Green Machine shirt. Very proud of that.
Did you put an offer in for the Pazunu jersey that? Oh no, sorry, you're blocked, aren't you?
I am. But I was delighted to see it worn the other night. That's the second time, and surely now the demand has got to be out there to let's get it in the shops. Well done, JC. Come on, give the fans what they want. Let's do it now. Let's do it now rather than selling them in 2 years' time for premium charges.
But yeah, two defeats, like that jersey's just iconic, isn't it?
Look, it's a nice jersey. I think if you're going to bring out a jersey, put it in the shops.
Are you saying he didn't? Are you accusing JC?
Didn't happen. I told you that. I owe Gavin Bazunu a drink. I don't think he does drink, but I owe him a drink. I said, anyone I see wearing that shirt around Glasgow, I'll get you a pint. That was the only person I saw wearing it.
That's a love about you, Martin. Never would hold a grudge.
No.
And Nick, you're looking very well in your blurred out background there. My
t-shirt keeps blurring out. It's blending in with
if I was wearing that t-shirt, I'd want that blurred out too. But anyway,
apparently, isn't it diagonal makes you look broader or something like that? I don't know.
No comment.
Fatter.
Definitely no comment there. Anyway, so we're all back. We're all ready for Armenia tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are going over. Those of you watching, of course, as always, have you say, leave a comment and get involved. Lads, let's put a bow in Scotland.
Just before we go on, Dave, geez, that's your shirt there is a bit. You're showing a bit there, haven't you?
It's sexy, isn't it?
Jesus, Dave, that is a bit. Jesus, so have we got a new audience maybe from your trip for Glasgow? Tuned in the site tonight.
Maybe. I'm just checking the comments. I have had that
because that's happened before.
It has happened before, hasn't it? Oh Jesus! Yeah, we got some comments coming in there, guys. Keep them coming in. Not from anybody. Martin, you were there. I did not have time to connect with anyone.
It was a bit hectic, wasn't it, out there? It was a bit. Well, I had a hectic day anyway, sorting out tickets and stuff. So, that was good.
That was hilarious, Martin. Nick, Martin was stuck in the pub signing out all the fucking tickets.
Martin Delaney.
It's not Martin Delaney. Jesus Christ! I don't know.
Don't know.
Very annoying.
Martin the Greek over there.
It's very annoying now. God.
Yeah, what was that suitcase by your feet as well? It looked very bulging. I don't know. Don't want to get involved in there, but yeah. But if you want your tickets, don't go to a travel agent. Go to Martin. It was a bit mad actually. Scotland is very strict, isn't it? 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You want to see it? They were all sitting there on their fucking lattes and having a breakfast, and we wait. And second the pub opened, all the Scottish fans came in. Well, sorry, the pub was open, but when it hit 11 o'clock, all the Scottish fans in having double, treble sambucas. Madness. It was hectic. I went back. I tried to get into my room. It was a 3 o'clock check-in, and I thought, nah, surely they won't, won't bother with that. You know how it is. Nope. 3 o'clock. I was like, you bastards. Had to leave at 4. Got on City Mapper to get a subway, the outer subway, and then get a bus over to Hampden Park. And the fucking City Mapper sent me to a bus stop that didn't exist. It was just literally the shell of a bus stop. It had the thing of a bus stop. It didn't have any signs or any timetables, which did worry me. But it did have the big bus stop thing on the road, and I just stood there like an absolute prick. No bus showed up. About 10 buses went past. None had stopped for me, and then one's just like beeping at me. It's not a sign. It's not a bus. It's not a bus. Well, thanks for that. And then got another one anyway.
You got there anyway.
I got there anyway. It was great crack. You look like you had tremendous fun there, Martin. Way section got some pictures here of Martin here. Look at this here. This is pretty cool. With Keane.
Oh yeah, that was. See, I went in there early. I was obviously a responsible dad for the day as well, and that is. I won't tell you how many drinks I'd had by then, but yeah, we got in very early, and that flag.
Social services might be watching.
That flag was put up by our FAI head of security, Joe McGlue, to help me out putting that up. But fair play, like they do. The lads do a good job with the stewards. Really great steward, actually. Fair play. He was, because people are very protective, especially of the flags with obviously the island flag and stuff. So. And people come in after and sometimes we're a bit pissed up and they kind of throw them over and cover up people's flags who've got in early. But yeah, I actually did. I'm going to name drop now. Listen to this clanger. But yeah, Gary Breen actually did. I had emailed him about something else that I'm trying to plan. And he did get back to me and I sent him the photo of the flag because he loves that flag. So yeah, that's me in the stadium there with Daryl O'Connor.
Daryl.
Sorry, yeah, Daryl, yeah.
Who is actually? Hold on, he's actually on. Here he is. Daryl.
Oh, here he is.
And
Daryl, there he is.
Yay.
Number one fan. I grabbed him there for that photo. Really good lad. So
Yeah.
Where'd you grab him?
yeah, exactly. Not the David grab.
Well, not being funny. I don't know where your right hand is there, Martin. So just saying, I
can see both of his fists, thankfully.
Yeah, it looks a bit.
I didn't say anything about fists.
No, great to see him. Great, like it's brilliant. Like that's why I love following Ireland. Obviously, you meet up with so many friends and stuff, and it's like a kind of brotherhood. I know that sounds quite cheesy and corny, but
Just a bit.
It is brilliant catching up with people, and it's just really enjoyable. And despite the result, ultimately, but good crack, and everyone's going again tomorrow.
Yep. Actually got a bit of footage here. I won't give. I'll give him credit. I got it off David Snow. You got it off David Snow, didn't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It was sent to me. Yeah, it got sent to me. It was going around on the WhatsApp.
He probably got it off your man, Wirch.
Here, hold on, David Snow. I deleted it, but yeah.
Oh, that one.
I deleted the one with thief on it. Fuck's sakes. Anyway, here we go. Here is a little bit of the atmosphere. If you weren't at Hampden Park the other day, if you were, tell us what you thought in the comments, by the way. Got a few coming in there. We'll read them out in a second. Martin, the atmosphere was absolutely just amazing. It was incredible. I almost choked on my lovely Irish stew that we got in the media box. No prawn sandwiches, sadly, but have a look at this. Probably the only Irish song that the Scottish fans didn't boo actually that night. Yeah. But it was great atmosphere, great game of football as well. I did write an article about it saying, look, this isn't glorious failure. It's just a fucking great game of football. Just enjoy it for what it is. Two good teams playing great football. It was great, wasn't it?
It was brilliant atmosphere. I mean, the went through the repertoire of songs and stuff as well. Fantastic. I seen something in the Times yesterday because we were trying to kill time at the airport, but they had they were trying to say that Ireland hadn't taken up their allocation, but I'm pretty sure there was 2,800 at that. And there's loads around the Scotland end as well. And everywhere you went around Glasgow, which I know you would see the Irish fans.
Yeah. It's a big fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you said that. I heard that. There was a bit of a fight from you.
To
get to you, was it? To get to you.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Wasn't the Brady family? Wasn't any of them? Was it trying to get to you? Or
the Hendrick
family?
No. It was fine. It's like, lads, you just come both buying me a drink. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, it got a bit like I was kind of holding on to my laptop there. Like, lads, you can do whatever you want to each other. Just do not knock over my beautiful laptop. Yeah, it was a bit hairy, but it was great atmosphere. I mean, that was a thing, wasn't it? Like, that's a very young Ireland team. I think 8 of them under 23 or around 23. We'll get to that in a second. And the Scots are a big physical side. They didn't back down. Ireland weren't bullied. They put it up to them. It was a really hostile Glaswegian Saturday night, and that's a rough old city. But here's one fella who took umbrage with. We'll just play it.
8 of the players this evening are under 23 years of age.
Yeah.
That's not a choice, though. He has experienced players. He's chosen. He had the likes of Jeff Hendricks on the pitch, on the bench, Brady. He's chosen to play that team, so that's his choice.
Well, for Brady, it's either Brady or McLean. And is Jeff Hendrick the answer? Did those midfield three not justify selection on the basis of June?
I think they did. I think they did really well. I'm just saying, but your point of 3 of them are under 23, is that I don't know what they're...
8 of them.
8 of them under 23. Is that an excuse? Is that a reason? Is that like... I don't understand.
Excuse mightn't be the right word, but I guess we're trying to tease out where this team are, where we expect them to be. That would suggest if 8 are under 23... that things are going to progress. They will benefit from experience, and maybe in these tight matches where a bit of nous comes into it, you would hope they'll be better for it next year.
So the European qualifiers start in March. We should qualify for the Euros.
Well, that's the question. You don't think so?
I wouldn't be confident at the moment. I haven't even seen the draw yet, but I look at us now when we're playing teams that are like in and around us. Ukraine are very similar to us. Scotland are very similar to us, and we seem to be coming out on the wrong end of those.
Why is that? What's missing there?
That's a good question, Joe.
So you don't think it's nous? You don't think it's age or experience? Is it the manager? Is it the tactics?
I just think that we're just... Yeah, I think so. I think we're lacking a belief. We're lacking a swagger, which will come with results. When you get results in games, and we got a result against Scotland, I thought we'd go in today and put in a better performance. It was a decent performance. I'm not going to get carried away and say it was a wonderful performance, but at some point there has to be accountability. Right? You can't, that's not management. I mean, if that was management, I mean, I'm sitting here with you, right? And I chose to go down this route as opposed to coaching. Because coaching comes, there's a responsibility, there's a pressure, you have to have a streak in you, a ruthlessness. And I chose not to go down that route because I don't want to. But if you offer me what Stephen has, really, and just carte blanche, just do what you want. Results don't matter. Blood 16 players, 3 defeats in 16. I'd be interested in that.
I've never heard such bollocks in my entire life from a so-called expert. Now,
can I say though at the start with Paul McShane going, under 23, so what? Fucking dense fucker. I mean, he's a youth
though.
Well, he's a youth coach.
Yeah.
Well, he was a youth coach with United. He should be encouraging this kind of thing. I mean, I think he only got that gig to kind of get the free gear because you just see him on social media just wearing the gear around the house and doing the washing up with the gear on. Like
no belief.
He's a spoof for McShane. I don't know why they get these guys, and Delaney's another one. There's now part of me sees like the results thing is a huge discussion, and a lot of people are avoiding it. Like the results have been poor. I mean, we've lost to Luxembourg, we've lost to Armenia, we drew with Azerbaijan at home, but some of the other bits he's throwing in there, there is an agenda against Stephen Kenny. Like it's
his choice.
Undoubted. And the thing is, we have to look at the counter arguments as well. We have to look at them. We have to address them. And some of them are completely fair enough. But when he's just going all out, it's unhelpful. His expectations of Ireland are a little bit unrealistic, I think. I mean, to blood that many players. I mean, if Mick McCarthy stayed in charge, I mean, I looked at something only a few minutes ago. I think the average age of the team on Saturday night was 24.5 or something like that. If you have Mick there, the average age is about 30, isn't it? Like, because he's not playing those young lads. Martin O'Neill wouldn't have played the young lads. Like, we had an awful reputation the last few years of playing lads or capping lads in their late 20s, where that had to change with the lads coming through, and it has. So, there's counter arguments to both, to be fair.
And actually, speaking of which, right, just going to play another clip here. This is courtesy of Daniel McDonnell, who got this. I got us off his Twitter. A good pal, Daniel.
Friend of the podcast.
A friend of the podcast, yeah. I've actually never said 2 words to Daniel, to be fair. Do like his comments. Do like his articles, though. But, you make the point there, Nick, that we haven't been able to blood these players. Yeah, and it's because of someone like Martin O'Neill, who wouldn't give, say, a certain Matt Doherty a chance until he was late 20s. And, we are now left to this massive void of experience because we've left it so late to cap these guys because likes of O'Neill and Trapp would only pick players when they're, nearly 30. But let's have a look here. This is Martin O'Neill in Premier Sports.
Absolutely disappointed with that. I think he looked a little bit leggy in the second half, and that was the start of him sort of going downhill in the second half. But he just got to move his feet a little bit quicker and try and make sure the ball doesn't get in the box.
And that's what happens when you're not being played regularly. I mean, of course, he's been out for a long time with injury. It's going to take him time to get back up to speed, but Tommy's right. Not be able to move your feet quicker.
That's what matters when you can't defend.
Yeah, we'll hope for that.
Sorry about it.
That just sounded like Mr. Blobby having a heart attack.
And maybe he was. Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, that was really, really low, and I tried to do my bit. But anyway, that's Martin O'Neill. If you haven't gone deaf, that's Martin O'Neill basically getting a comment in about Matt Doherty saying, "Well, that's what happens when you can't defend." That's what he said, Martin, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's just petty of Martin O'Neill there. I mean, look, he was up in Glasgow, obviously doing. I seen actually he was actually at a kind of lunch thing during the day. I think he was quite busy actually, because I seen 442 actually had messaged out that they were doing a sit down interview, for their questions they were doing a Q&A kind of thing with him for their magazine. And then I saw he was at a signing thing, and then I see him on telly, and I think he's just been a bit controversial and bitchy there, isn't he, for the sake of it? But he didn't give Doherty much of a chance, and he's just getting it back there, isn't he? Doherty went on the radio when he left, and he saying that they didn't do much and things like that, training wise. Yeah, that's just him being petty. But I kind of just on that, obviously that point with Doherty though. I mean, I didn't think he was brilliant the other night, and I thought he was at fault. He looked a bit rusty. Obviously, I like the word you used the other night, that he was trying to atone for his error. Proved that I listened. And then I noticed that Nick stole that word again after. And didn't give you any credit. Didn't give you any credit, Dave.
Bit like Irish propaganda, Nick.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah. Too right.
But yeah, look, yeah. I mean, I know we'll come on and talk about what players we think will be in the team and stuff. But yeah, the media reaction, I think. Look, Delaney, I think, set out his stall quite early with Stephen Kenny, and he's said a lot, been very vocal in the past about him, and I think it's a little bit too late for him to backtrack and kind of turn around and see the kind of progress that's being made. Sometimes a pundit will go down that way, and it's kind of too late for them. They go so far that they can't actually turn it around. Gary Breen's very, very similar in the extent that he actually said it was a very good first half, and also about the age thing. It's kind of wearing on me a little bit now. I think my worry with Stephen Kenny and the results, because it will come down to this, obviously, results game. It comes back to that thing where we've chatted about in the past. Is Stephen Kenny going to put this all in place, but is he going to kind of fall on his sword and someone else is going to get the benefit of all the work he's done now?
I said that from the beginning,
is nagging kind of thing in the back of my mind now. But at the same time, the question I would have asked Damien Delaney there is, though, who are you bringing in? Who are you bringing in now to do anything with these lads? And that's the fact of it.
There's no one available. There's people who will be thinking Brendan Rodgers is going to get sacked and he's going to come in and get the Ireland job. But we can't afford Brendan Rodgers. We can't afford anyone. I mean, if Stephen Kenny is sacked, let's say we lose to Armenia tomorrow and Stephen Kenny is sacked. I mean, who are you getting in? I mean, someone like Paul Cook, someone like Stephen Bradley. We're not getting in a Premier League manager. We don't have the money. No. It's not. We don't have Dennis O'Brien bankrolling us. So unless you have an investor, unless you have someone who's gonna foot all those wages, we're not gonna get Brendan Rodgers. And as I said, I know I said this the other night. Like I said, if Big Sam was in charge on Saturday, we would have been thumped. We can't even afford Big Sam. So the alternatives are a little bit grim, to be honest. It would be an unknown. Like I could imagine them going for a kind of a little known kind of continental kind of manager. If you look at, say, we're playing Armenia tomorrow, and we're obviously going to profile them a bit. Like they have a Spanish manager who coached Seville. I could see them going for someone like that, someone who might have had a stint in La Liga or a stint in Serie A, and someone that maybe isn't a big name and isn't going to command a big fee. But they have to, as I said. The fans, like some of the pundits, have to remeasure their expectations of where we're at.
I don't think we're... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, look, I think, you have the results thing bandied about, yeah, fair enough. And, I was having a conversation today with somebody about, well, we didn't do well in the playoff against Slovakia in the Nations League and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, this is a project. This is a massive project.
But Dave, projects can only last. I mean, just on the counter argument to that, projects can only last so long. Like we're 2 years in, we've lost a World Cup.
Yeah.
Our seeding isn't too bad, so we are in a good position for the Euros. But if it gets to a stage where we fail to qualify for the Euros, and it's nearly 4 years since Stephen Kenny's taken over. You might say, yes, he's blooded the players, but the results never followed. So I'm not saying they should get rid of him. Absolutely not. Like I'm judging it off the football we played in the last couple of games against Scotland and Ukraine. But But how long are we going to say this is a project? 10 years? No, we can't.
No.
You know,
No, I'm not saying
the
that.
players be gone.
No. Look, I mean, we got to look at this logically and realistically. I always said from the beginning that the end of the World Cup qualifying campaign, I had written off the World Cup. Realistically, you know, was hoping he'd hit the ground running. It wasn't the toughest of groups, but realistically, I'd written it off my head because, you know, this is going to take time. The Nations League was disappointing personally, as I've written in the latest article, which is available on the Facebook page on Medium, where I basically said we should be sitting on 10 points right now because we should have hammered Armenia in Yerevan. We should have beaten Ukraine at home, second string Ukrainian side. We should have hammered them really as well. But he picked the wrong players. He picked a midfield 2 instead of a midfield 3. Hendrick and Cullen, absolute disaster. You reverse to the 3, Cullen, Malumbi, Knight, and what do you know? We batter Scotland. We give Ukraine a good go, and should have got something in the Scotland game. So for me, that is Kenny's mistake, and I'm hoping he's learned from that mistake. Now, obviously, Josh Cullen isn't available tomorrow, so he's going to have to put Hourihane or Hendrick in there. My preference would be Hendrick personally, because he's playing at a higher standard of football. But you know, it's better that it's the worst of or the best of a bad situation, I suppose. But I think personally, it's got to be the Euros. Let's got to give Armenia a good hiding tomorrow. If we lose to Armenia, then we're relegated. Jesus, there's going to be massive questions about this. We're going to talk about Armenia in a second, but that's where I'm at. You know, he's got to show it in the Euros. He's got a settled team. He has a settled formation. The lads can play it. They can play good football and they can compete that performance. This wasn't Serbia, the 3-2, glorious defeat. We were terrible in that game for large swathes of that match, actually. And the Portugal game, Nick, you even watched it yourself. We were absolutely dreadful in that game. It's just we held on till the 80-something minute. That game against Scotland was different. There was substance to it. It was competitive. It was end-to-end. It was a bloody good game. So I do think we have come on leaps and bounds. And I do think we just need to see how we do. Just hammer this team tomorrow night because they're shite. And then go and, have an experiment in November. And then go for the Euros in March. That's why I don't think, if he doesn't do it in the Euros, then it might be time to get someone else in.
Yeah, I think we have to win tomorrow night. First of all, I understand the whole thing of the young team and stuff like that. I'll give them the benefit of that. It's a lot better watching Ireland now as a fan than it has been probably the last 15 years, to be honest. Yes, we were at the Euros. Yes, we went 2012. We were shite then. We've had our days in the sun on them occasions, but we weren't competing at them things. I wanted us to see us do something different, and it may well be a project. That's what I think I'm actually seeing under Stephen Kenny. I think the hardcore fans are still behind him. Yes, now he's under pressure. He needs to win. I like this settled team that he's got. My only point on this is there is no one available, I don't think, who can come in. I think on what he's trying to do, he has, in a way, there's a little mini revolution of Irish football here with what he's doing. He's been given that real trust from the FAI. I know there's no money, and that's probably a bit of a blessing, because if they did have lots of money, we'd still be going down that road of bringing in a big name because people would want the job. If we had Brendan Rodgers in as a manager now, and Ireland started doing well, on the back of that, there'd be speculation, as there was with Martin O'Neill, that he'd be going off to a Premier League team. Yeah. At the moment, no one is wanting Stephen Kenny. Now, that is because Stephen Kenny believes in this project, believes in Irish football, and is actually doing a lot with kind of League of Ireland as well, I think, and even the structure underage, doing a lot of kind of good PR for Irish football and the development of players. I think I'm kind of relating it to the kind of model that Germany went down with even Joachim Löw. The lad who didn't he used to scratch his ass or something?
That was balls.
I'll bring it down a bit to your level, Dave. but sorry. But I think that's where it is. You can trust someone who isn't a big name. I can't see anyone else who's going to come in. We're just going to be taking steps backwards, and we would have an aging team, and it would be like that. I even think back to when Martin O'Neill brought Robbie Keane and Shay Given went to the Euros and things like that. It was more out of a loyalty to senior pros and names rather than actually ability. And I think I still trust Kenny. Look, the other thing I'd say is we're going to obviously come on and speak about the team. We were quite close the other day for picking our team. This is now becoming a very settled team. We used to think it was quite impossible to pick his teams because we didn't know what he was going to do. Now I think he's out trusted them now, and this is where I think we'll see the fruits of his labour come out.
I think so
Settled
too.
team playing.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's get on to Armenia. We've been talking about. Actually, speaking of which, see this guy here, John. No, deluded Timmy's haha potatoes. What a dickhead. He's got another one here. Fucking laughing stock, typical Dims, always cheated, never defeated, potato. Okay. That's what a grown man does with his spare time. Yeah. God bless you, John.
Sad, strange little man.
I didn't realize they allowed social media and those sort of places, but there you go. So we'll just block him there because he's just being a prick. Anyway, so there he is. Bye, John. Anyway, let's move on to Armenia, lads. Got a few facts for you here. No graphics because, on a bit of a tight budget here. Managed by former Sevilla coach Joaquin Caparros. Obviously, their probably most famous player, Henrik Mkhitaryan, is recently retired. They have loads of South American players playing for them, including Colombians, Webimar Angulo, Jordi Monroy. Jesus, I'm butchering this, lads. Fucking hell. Could you not put it in phonetic, Nick, for Christ's sake? An Argentinian trio, Zaire Margian, Norberto Briasco of Boca Juniors, and Lucas Zelerian, who was an MLS All-Star last year. And I've also players born in Russia. There's a shock. Sweden, Georgia, Ukraine, Germany, and Nigeria. 35% of the team is non-Armenian born. That is according to Transfer Market. I'll do a bit of research here, lads. We should be giving these lads an absolute thumping. They lost, what was it, 5-0 to Ukraine?
Yeah. Oh, but like we're the only team that they've beaten in the last 2 years, and Montenegro as well. I think they beat as well. I'm gonna put up their results there in a second. But they've lost nearly every game in the last 2 years, and they've lost them badly. They're a really bad team. They had a bit of a golden generation. They thumped us at under 21 level. I think it was the 89 year group. So I think Seamus Coleman might have been in that kind of group, and James McLean wasn't playing underage, was he? But that kind of age group. That was Mkhitaryan's age group, and a few of them lads went on to play for kind of Shakhtar Donetsk and some of the bigger teams in kind of Russia and Ukraine. But they absolutely thumped us, and that was their golden generation. We played them in 2011 and 2010, for the Euros, and we beat them twice, but they did make it very, very difficult for us. So this is kind of them going into a shitstorm, really, and somehow they managed to beat us. But look, they're a tidy little team. They're very, very stubborn in defense. They're very, very technically good on attack. But overall, they struggle to score goals. They're good at keeping the ball, but they struggle to score goals. That goal against us, the one with Caoimhin Kelleher, that's what they're kind of at. It's going to be kind of long range efforts. It's going to be kind of opportunistic efforts. But no, they're shocking. I mean, I don't know how we lost them away. I don't know if it was the temperature or what it is.
No, it's just you picked a 2-man midfield of Jeff Hendrick doing his best.
Yeah,
but that's
the thing. Like these teams, even though they're poor, they're good in the ball. They can hold on to the ball in midfield. So that's what happens when you play 2-man midfield. So we should be okay tomorrow, I think.
Look, that goal was scored against us because he had a right back who was completely off the pace. Seamus Coleman, I love him, but let's be honest, he stood off Spertian. He's given all the time in the world, hits one in, and a very rusty goalkeeper, Caoimhin Kelleher, was beaten from distance. Otherwise, he wouldn't have. Well, actually, he had the ball in the back of the net, didn't he? And I think hit the post. So maybe speaking too soon there. Yeah, it's one of those like tidy Eastern European team. You give them a chance, they will take it. You don't give them time on the ball. Very technically astute. So basically, we have to avoid defeat to these guys tomorrow to avoid being relegated to the third tier of the Nations League. We have been relegated before under Martin O'Neill. He'll never mention that, though, Martin, will he?
No.
He's on telly. Team-wise, Bazunu obviously starts in goal. McLean was outstanding, I thought, against Scotland. He was brilliant. Do you think he's going to go for Brady?
I think he's going to go for McLean again. I'd go for Brady just to mix it up a little bit, but like McLean's done nothing there to be dropped. He was, he's
brilliant.
He's the most improved player under Stephen Kenny. I think there's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. We're going to stick with the same three. Hopefully, he doesn't go with Duffy. Because Duffy still hasn't been playing, so he's got to go with Collins, O'Shea and Egan. I thought Egan was excellent. I thought Collins had a shaky start actually Saturday, but he got into the game quite well. So we reckon the 3 there. Now, here's the thing. Right wing back. He is limited here. You've got Doherty, who was clearly rusty. I mean, it was like just orange up and I don't mean his jersey, just up and down the side of the pitch. It was just flying off. I mean, he was so bad for the goal. He's had 8 minutes of Premier League football this season. Actually, sorry, 8 minutes of football, and it wasn't in the Premier League, it was in the Champions League. Seamus Coleman hasn't had a single minute of Premier League football this season, only 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup. That's not a great option either. He's knocking on 34. Who else do you have? It's your pal, Alan Brown.
No, can't happen. Look, Doherty
won't happen.
Doherty has to start. No, Doherty has to start. And yeah, he was poor the other night, but look, he's hardly played any games. He's got 90 minutes under his belt now. So give him another 90 minutes. Put him in the window for Conte. Let him kind of let him rectify it. Because Alan Brown should not be playing right. Alan Brown shouldn't be playing tomorrow. He's going to start tomorrow, I'd say.
You probably blame him for the first goal, did you?
Yeah, no, yeah. But no, you can't start Coleman. It has to be Doherty, regardless of how he got on the other night.
What would you go with? Doherty?
Yeah, I think he'll be. He said there's going to be very few changes apart from the kind of imposed one with Cullen coming out. But I think he will start with Doherty. I think he should as well. I would give him I'd give him 60 minutes and then I'd bring in Coleman perhaps, or even look at like Ogbene going in there perhaps. But I think I've even kind of thought about changes that he'll make in the game. I think he will. Overall, I think he'll make 2 changes from the team.
Don't fucking get there. Don't spoil it for them, Martin. Jesus.
I'm teasing you, Dave.
You are teasing me.
You like that.
You saucy bitch. Right.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. So we're going to go Doherty again. Okay, midfield. So it has to be Knight Malumbi. I thought they were very good. Although Knight wasn't, maybe because he's playing wing back in the third tier of English football. Harahan or Hendrick in the decision. Well, for me, it's Hendrick just because he's playing a higher level of football than Harahan. And regularly, to be fair, for Reading.
The way I've got this is I'm going with Malumbi, Jeff, and Brady in the midfield. I'd drop Knight. I think Knight, that's got to be a wake-up call to him. I think he can't be sitting down at Derby now. Just not. He was too rusty the other night. He didn't offer an awful lot in a way. I didn't think he was brilliant at all. And I think if he's going to play in that position, he's got to be playing in it for his club and showing us what he can do. He's not good enough, I don't think, to be able to say, "Oh, you can go and do this for your club," and then you come in and we need you to do this job for us. I think it's just a too competitive squad now for that. So I can't see. I mean, look, that's an option for him. Is he going to experiment perhaps and go Knight as a right wing back? I can't see him dropping Doherty, as I said anyway. But I wouldn't have him in it. Knight, I think he's got to trust Malumbi after the performance the other night. I think he'll put Jeff in there around him, very experienced. And then I think this is an opportunity for Brady then for the creativity because I think we can afford against them to have that. And so that's my midfield.
I would like to see that. Like, genuinely, I think Brady's better. That creativity,
I think the experience as well.
But he gives us something that we just don't have, really. No one else provides us that. Jack Byrne, obviously, but he probably won't be playing for Ireland again. The only thing is, though, he did include him as a defender in the squad, so maybe he's gonna,
but he does have McLean as well, doesn't he? And that's the fortunate of our squad.
Yeah, but McLean hasn't played in midfield since. No. He's put him in as a defender, to be fair. Even though I think McLean, there are times he should be up further of the pitch. Anyway, so that's the midfield 3. Nick, what do you reckon in midfield? Would you go with that? Would you go with Brady? Or do you reckon it's going to be...
It's a hard one because you've no kind of recognised anchor. Like Malumbi was excellent the other day, but I don't really fancy him in that position. He's better kind of playing him. He's fancy. Yeah. He's better kind of playing him besides someone like Cullen. The only Alan Brown's going to come in. I've no doubt about that. Alan Brown is going to come in, and
much to your the hatred for Alan Brown.
Do you think Brown will come in and behold him?
I don't know if he'll hold now. I think Malumbi will end up. I don't know who else is there to hold apart from Harahan. And Harahan isn't a holder, but he's done that before for us, hasn't he? So, if you want to go balanced midfield, maybe you do go Malumbi as the holder, and then you go maybe, as I said, Brady and Knight either side. Like, that's a very good creative team. But does Malumbi have the temperament to hold the midfield, to kind of control the game? Like, he's excellent at breaking up the play, but he's not very good at controlling the game. So it's a tricky one. Like, we just don't have any depth in kind of the holding position, because, you know, Connor Coventry is with the 21s, James McCarthy isn't playing, Harry Arter's disappeared off the face of the earth. So we're struggling there for depth. It just shows you know, that we could struggle there if Cullen's out for more competitive games. But look, well, I think it'd be good to try out Malumbi there, see if he is an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I do think it's such a shame that we don't have any cover, because when that holy trinity in the midfield, Cullen, Knight, Malumbi, one of those go down, we are really, really stretched thin here.
The only sorry, Dave. The only alternative is, like, I don't know why you wouldn't go 4 at the back. You know, like, he won't because, like, they're in so deep playing 3 at the back. But if you go 4 at the back, you can play 2 players box to box, and then you can play someone more advanced. So you could go with the Malumbi and a Harahan and then a Knight in front, or you could go with a Malumbi and a Hendrick and a Knight in front. So there's loads of different ways to alternate it. It wouldn't quite be the same as playing the 2-man midfield with three up front, because you'd have someone kind of in the hole there who are.
Definitely,
but he's not gonna do that. But it's, you know, it's an alternative to kind of combat that issue.
To be fair, this is this formation, and I think we're strongest playing this formation with the 3 in midfield. It's just a shame that you couldn't have a Gavin Kilkenny coming in. You know, maybe Will Smallbone. Obviously, we got the under 21s going on. Maybe it would have been nice to have one of those lads in. Maybe if it wasn't for that, you would have had one of those in instead of Harahan, because there's no one else really, but they're obviously involved in under 21s action. Interesting. Up front. Now, Nick, I'm going to predict your one here, because I think you're going to go with Parrott and Obafemi. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, yes.
That won't be it, but
I think
it should be.
I think it should be too. Ogbeni was brilliant when he came on, but I think, Martin, I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement. Ogbeni's best position is coming off the bench. He's a real super sub. His energy, my God, he tore Scotland apart. But in my opinion, and it's an issue again, Kenny's in-game management, it should have been Parrott that came off, and it should have been, because I think Obafemi and Ogbeni would have torn that team to shreds.
Yeah, I can understand why he didn't take off Parrott, because I think it was, you know, like he is looking for the creativity of him, and then he's got the outball, hasn't he, Obafemi? I mean, I know everyone's talking about the chance that Parrott missed, and he should have scored. We know that. But it was a fantastic counter-attack, and it just showed like that's what we can do, and it shows you what I thought Obafemi was excellent the other night. I thought Ogbeni as well must have been disappointed, but he showed what a team player he is. Like, he must have been disappointed that he didn't start. He came on full of energy just that game, and I thought he was excellent. And I feel sorry for him in a way that, you know, Obafemi's performances recently have kind of overshadowed him because he's got a fantastic record for us, Ogbeni. And I actually really would like to see them both start up front, but I think he will be very loyal to Parrott. I think if you remember Parrott, when he brought there's the word. If he and when he scores tomorrow night, I'm sure you'll have an atonement graphic. So ready. But you know, I just think you know, I think he likes Parrott. He knows him from the under 21s. I think he does offer something. It was a shame he didn't go for him the other night. And I know it's only one chance, but I think he, you know, the goal. I know even the way Kenny's talking about, you know, the goal that was offside, took it fantastically well. I think though, I was really impressed with Obafemi. Like, can't get away from it, to be honest. It stuck to him. I didn't think he had that in his game. I be honest, I kind of ruled him out a few years ago, saying I thought his build and everything wasn't great as a footballer. He looked more like a sprinter, but he's got some great technical ability. And all I would say about him, though, I've already kind of picked it. I think he'll start, but I think Ogbeni will come on for him. But I'd actually like to see the pair of them go at them. The two of them with the pace. If we have someone like Brady being very creative and putting them through balls, and even I can understand how Horahan could play in that, because if you've got that out of that amazing pace, you need people to deliver the ball to them. And I think a Parrott. I mean, I just can't believe actually everyone's still going on so much about the miss and things. It wasn't.
He's
great,
20 for Christ's sake.
I know, yeah, and like he's on the verge of doing something that only 2 other players have done, scoring like 5 goals under age of 21, which is a nice stat.
It's football, shit happens.
Yeah, I thought he's like he likes him, and
I see why. He's quality.
Yeah.
He's young, but we have to blood in these young players. Ida's out injured, who he's a big fan of too. But I mean, I think it will be Parrott and Obafemi. I do think that's probably, for me, that's our best forward pairing, and then I'd Benny to come on just to keep that going, or give us something different if we're chasing.
That was the point I was going to say there. Do you remember when he brought on Parrott in the last minute? He gave him a minute, didn't he? He kind of had half dropped him. He had played him, and then he kind of just brought him on one game after, and then he came on the knee and he got that amazing goal, the volley, the late goal. So,
Lithuania,
yeah, and I think he there's something about him that he really likes, and that was like a little reward, and I think that's the kind of thing again. And we have this thing, Irish players like even when they're kind of boosted a little bit, even like Egan scoring the other night. It's kind of written in the stars that's going to happen because he's a captain, because Coleman's not there and he's a real leader, and Duffy wasn't there and he's come up to that task. And even like, Obafemi coming on, all right, with speculation, should have happened for Conley the other night, really, with the under-21s. He had a chance late on, didn't he? And this is a thing, I think, sometimes, and I think this could happen now for Parrott tomorrow. I think we'll have a lot of space. I mean, we should beat this lot. I know that's very, very optimistic. Even you got to remember, we were going into that game the other night against Scotland. We're very, very optimistic, and I'm really super optimistic. And the fact is, we've won one Nations League game in our history, but yet we go there and we think,
proud day for the parish.
Yeah.
No, listen. We should knock the shite out of Armenia. No excuses. We should just batter them tomorrow. Get a nice goal early, get a set going, open it up, and then it's going to rain out there. Well, it will rain because it's Dublin, of course, but it will absolutely rain goals out there. My prediction is, lads, 5-0 Ireland. Nick?
I'll go 3-1 Ireland.
Oh, you miserable bastard. Martin?
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. Fair enough. We're going to talk about the Unit-21s, but you guys in the comment sections, let's be having you, as Telia Smith would be saying. Let's see your prediction down there. Put your bollocks on the line, and if you're wrong, we'll ridicule you tomorrow on the pod, on the pre and post show. So lads, the Unit-21s, obviously they have a chance to make history in the Shite. Was it the Shite Crest Derby?
The Shite Crest Derby.
Yeah. Did you see Ross Tiernan? We had a bit of a pre before we came on. I call him Thames. I mean, it's poor from Maher there, really, wasn't it? You said he's a poor goalie.
Some sound off it. Some sound off the ball.
Oh, yeah. Adam Thompson there from the FAI. Good old Adam catching that. As he said, I don't think I'll ever record a better goal than that. I don't think you will, to be honest. So that's Ronnie Ross Tiernan. Or Tierney, sorry. Obviously, we call him Ronnie, and off the air, Nick goes, no, it's Ross. It's like, yeah, that's the joke.
Good impression.
Fucking hell. See what I'm dealing with here. Just relax. Sorry, some comments coming in there about some definitely optimistic results coming in there. But anyway, we'll talk about the Under-21s quickly, lads, and then we'll wrap this up. I need to get to bed. 1-1. There are no away goals, all to play for in the ready money round. Nick, this is your specialty. Talk to your people.
I specialize in young lads.
Young boys. And that wraps up another episode, is it?
No, the last ever episode.
The last, yeah. Gary Glenn.
Yeah, look, we've seen what Israel have done. They've drafted in a couple of senior lads, cheeky. Laia Abada. I mean, a lot of people will know him. The Celtic player, very very agile player, very very skillful player. He's kind of going to be their answer to what we did with Aaron Connolly. A few people were saying, should we not just bring some of the younger lads in? I mean, it's a relegation battle now tomorrow night against Armenia, so we can't really. It's going to be hard, lads. I mean, you know, we did make that Israel team look very, very good. I don't think we were set up correctly. I don't have much faith in Jim Crawford getting things right tomorrow, tactically. But I think there is enough quality on the pitch to seize the initiative and to get a very, very narrow result. I have a bad feeling about it, but I do think, as I said, I do think there is so much quality in that Irish team that we are going to scrape. Maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. But it's going to be a very, very nervy one.
Yeah, it's well, it'll be live on RTE. We're going to be watching that. Well, I'll be watching it in the stadium because it actually does. What time?
RT player.
Yeah, 6:15 kickoff. So by the calculations there, it's, you know, we're half an hour into the match in the Aviva, and we're going to be checking phones if we can get a signal and stuff, trying to find out what's happened. Yeah, and that's a massive shame for them as well, to be honest. But look, I think it's as I said, very optimistic. I think this could be just set up for Aaron Connolly to score a winner, redeem himself, atonement for Aaron Connolly.
Another tattoo for the other calf.
Another tattoo, yeah, and off he goes to Georgia and Romania next summer. You know, there was a bit of chat about it earlier, saying like if they did do it, like should we call up the lads? You know, some of the lads who are eligible. I think without a doubt that has to happen. But let's get there first, and we can have a good chat about that on a future podcast. I think it's a massive opportunity, and I think they're disappointed the other night. It was, you know, I think they should have took it to him a bit more and been a bit braver. But that was, you know, Nick's friend Jim Crawford. He's not his biggest fan. But I think, you know, look, this is the opportunity. Like, it is a cup final now. Basically, we get there if we do the business. Whatever way we win, we win. That's it. Even if it goes penalties, it doesn't matter. So I'm hopeful. And you, like Nick, in the preview we did before of it, you know, we said this team is ready now. They've had experience of tournaments and stuff. So massive opportunity, and we did really well to get there. And I just hope they can kind of see it through now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like all these guys, they've played in under 17 and under 19s finals, so you know it's not their first rodeo. But this Israeli team, like I said, the lad who got sent off the other day, he played in that under 19s European Championship final against England in June. So you know they have experience themselves, and they did have a 17s and a 19s team playing finals in the last few years. So it's an even enough match. A lot of them are playing in the Israeli Premier League or whatever their top flight is, and some of them have played in Europe, so they're not a bad side, but they were very, very rigid. We should have been set up differently, and I'll put a bit of faith in Jim Crawford, and I do think he will get it right tomorrow. I hope he gets it right tomorrow. I know I'm going completely back on my words there, but look, they've had a few days to kind of digest the same opposition that they're going to be playing within a couple of days of one another. So look, as I said, we have so much quality on the pitch that I think it will get us past.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shame there won't be massive fans going over there. Like, you know, I'll give a shout out to Paul Boyle from Risk London. I was on the flight back from Glasgow yesterday. He went off to Tel Aviv today. I think that's just incredible that we've got fans who go and travel around the world, even see the under 21s. And, you know, he was saying we'll be back in Georgia, hopefully, and cheap beer was his words.
Well, that's on tomorrow. That is on the RT player. Obviously, I think you'll just see a lot of heads down watching it. Not the best time. Well done, UEFA. Fantastic stuff there, lads. As always, really looking after the Irish fans, as they always do. We're going to go through the comments, and then we're going to wrap it up. Jimmy Twomley. Jimmy Twomley. Am I saying that right, Jimmy? I apologize if not. See you tomorrow, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Jimmy, I'm going to be at the game. I'll be in the media section, obviously on media duty. Do you know, actually, my lovely lanyard, they took it off me.
What?
They took it off me. Yeah, I walked out at Hampden Park with my lovely lanyard, strutting that ass. The man goes, "Are you coming back?" I said, "No, I'm going home. Give me a lanyard, please." I was like, "What?" I was literally like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, give me a lanyard." Fucking Scots, man, they're so stingy.
I kind of don't want to laugh, but that's a schoolboy error. You got to know not to do that.
I know. It was my first away trip. My first away trip, and it looked lovely. And I'm so glad I got a picture of it anyway, because the only fucking memory I have of it. I understand the security risk of it because we just hadn't any old tosser. I mean, he fucking gave it to me, didn't it? Anyway, yeah. So we will be in the stadium around. So we'll be around the Irish Town House tomorrow, I'm sure, at some stage. So do give us a shout. So thanks for that, Jimmy. Graham Farrell. Even lads, Coy Big had a mare in Glasgow. Sorry to hear that, Graham. Actually, this doesn't look good at all. No. Glasgow Saturday, didn't get to the game as was pickpocketed on my way to the ground. Missed the game trying to get back to Edinburgh.
Oh, shite.
That is shite, Graham. Really sorry to hear that. There's always a danger of that on these away trips, and it's such a shame that has happened. So hopefully not too much damage done there.
Let's send that man some stickers.
Nothing fixes a situation like stickers. Graham gives a shout in the give us a shout. Send us your address in private message. We'll send you a few bits and pieces. Genuinely sorry to hear that's horrible when that happens. Kieran Boyle, a good man, Kieran in Florida. A few things here. The orange jersey is pure pox. This team is just treading water on the Kenny. Ooh, change the regime now. 22% win record is atrocious. And nothing has changed in 2+ years. Hashtag YTJs with Umbro. Hashtag bring back Adidas and the glory days. I agree with some of that. Daryl O'Connor. I honestly believe we have the best supporters in the world, but some of them are very hard to please. I remember the 0-0 versus North under O'Neill, and we were crying out for change. I do too, Daryl. I think it was actually my first game back. Yeah, when I started coming over to the games regularly, actually, that was my first game back. It was atrocious. And if it wasn't for a brilliant save, we could have lost that game. That was an absolutely dreadful dross. Very short memories there. Daryl O'Connor again. Now we have that change and people are moaning. We deserved more out of that game. Doherty was useless for me. Useless for a lot of people, I think. Would have started Brady over him. But again, we deserved at least a point. Still back, Kenny. Our time is coming. Finishes up Daryl there. Fair play, Daryl. Jed Murphy. Armenia 1-1. Great results. Onwards, for fuck's sakes. Fair enough. Not a fan. New name there, Jed. Welcome to the podcast. Kenny Delahunt. Love it. Yes, we all love it. Kieran Boyle. And I have a feckin' hurricane to deal with on top of all of that. Very, very sorry to hear about that, Kieran. Hope you're safe, by the way. Just took your family in under the porch or whatever it is you do in these sort of countries, with obviously the Green Machine podcast on there. That'll bring some comfort, I'm sure. Graham Farrell, yeah, there is, and I'm in Kenny's camp, but he's got to start getting some consistency in results. We've conceded 5 goals in this group, all of them in the second half, same as the World Cup qualifiers, and we took the lead in 1 or 2 of them too. We can't hold on to leads, so I wonder what the fuck Stephen says at half-time, because we tend to tie second half, in my opinion. Also wouldn't listen to that clown O'Neill, he's a dinosaur, although Doherty, I will say, does me head in defensively. All very valid points there. It seems to be with Ireland that if we don't batter a team, we kind of fall apart a little bit, don't we? Seems to be that way. If we don't go absolutely all in, get 2 or 3, like we end up conceding.
Yeah, we didn't weather the storm the other day. They had a really good patch, didn't they? Scotland, and we could just sense it in the ground, and then they're all under pressure and it was a bit panicky, and then we had spells again though, and you got to stop playing in patches like that. You know, even I think back to the home game, it was very like that as well. But like we had the kind of rub of the green and the chances. You know, you think back to that game when they could have been 2-0 up in Dublin. So yeah, it was good.
Cormac Murray, Chris Hughton.
Not a chance.
That's when we were talking about who. That was when Martin, you were saying who we get in. Chris Hughton. I'm sorry, Cormac, absolutely not. It would just be the same sort of dinosaur football.
There's this misconception that Chris Hughton plays this beautiful, free-flowing style of football, but he doesn't. He plays the exact same brand as Mick McCarthy.
2.0 Mick McCarthy, because under the first regime, Mick McCarthy was actually very good.
He wouldn't take it anyway. He's got a big job with Ghana.
Yeah, to be fair. Archduke 8199 on our YouTube channel. Paul McShane makes Mongo from Blazing Saddles look like a brain surgeon.
Oh, he's dense, McShane. Absolutely
What was it you
dense.
call him? A dense fucker. We need to clip that one out.
Yeah, I'll probably have to clip that out.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
We
clip
got
it
some
out.
guests lined up, and I'm really pleased to announce that
Palmer.
We'll be begging him one day, and he'll come back and find that.
How we said dense, we meant solid with knowledge. Greg Farrell, he's with Ghana at the moment. Cormac in response to Cormac wanting Chris Hughton. Kieran Boyle, why do we have to look at an old Premier League manager? This is obviously about Gray Mutant, fucking hell, Chris Hughton. I thought we were trying to move away from that. We'll have more players playing on the continent in 10 years' time. Very true. Good old Brexit. Cormac Murray, why is Kerr so bitter with Kenny? What kind of scutter was Delaney talking? Got a bit nasty too. Why does Brian Kerr hate Stephen Kenny? Brian Kerr, who was...
I don't think he hates him. I think it's just an alternative view. Because look, there are counter arguments. His record is bad. We've lost to some very, very poor teams. That Armenia team is so poor, and we lost to them. So there are counter arguments, and people do get fixated with their opinions. And I think it's very like that for Kerr. It's very like that for Delaney. So look, what's madness to us is completely normal for someone else, and they probably think the likes of us are mad, kind of supporting it. So each their own, I think, with that one.
Bollocks! I'm right about everything. If you don't agree with me, I was gonna say the C word there, but I won't. Sorry, Mrs. Prendergast, if you're watching. Graham Farrell, we're trying to restructure the way our philosophy works. Problem is, Adolf Delaney ran things so tight and set us back so far that the FAI is a mess, and now we can kind of see where we're going as a team and a setup. The under-21s are doing well, and the 19s, 17s, 15s are all flying. There's pathways there. Problem is, for me, while I like Kenny, I'm not sure he's learning from his mistakes, as so much changes from what I've seen on the highlights from Saturday were bizarre. I think that's a very fair comment there, Graham. Yeah. The pathways are there now. Beforehand, all the underage teams played up to the 21s. They played the same style of football. And when you have someone like Noel King, and well, God knows what he was doing. And then when he left, they were all playing up to the 20, including the 21s. But, when they got to the senior team, that was being blocked because they were playing hoofball. But now they're playing all the exact same style all the way through, which is what all the modern teams do, which is fantastic. I do agree with the mistakes there. He is learning quite slowly. His in-game management has been poor, but I think, as we spoke about earlier on, he is settling on that formation. And we, as Martin rightly said, we can now predict to some degree what his team, with some degree of accuracy, what his team will be, which we couldn't do a year ago because you didn't know what was going to come out in the team sheets. Anyway, Ewan McKernan, if we don't get a result against Armenia, Michael O'Neill, along with Stephen Reid, should be considered next to step in. Graham Farrell says in response to that, Stephen Reid won't go back into coaching for mental health reasons for a while. He's doing mentoring for mental health at the moment. Fair point. And Michael O'Neill, could you imagine him and James McLean? That'd be tasty. Yeah. Kieran Boyle, I'm amazed that Kenny has all this support, not earned, not justified. Kieran, now, come on. Graham Farrell, who would you get in? He's trying to rebuild the whole structure of it. Actually, we'll have a response to that in a second. Kenny Delahunt, I think, see how Euro qualifying goes. Agreed. Graham Farrell didn't know there was Wi-Fi in Govan. That is response to our good friend John, who was throwing in a bit of racist abuse. Not like a bit of racism, lads, on a Monday night, eh? Kieran Boyle, Graham Farrell, style of play shouldn't matter, results do, and we don't get results when needed. Graham Farrell comes out with his 11 for tomorrow night. Bazunu, Coleman, Egan, Collins, O'Shea, McLean, Malumbi, Knight, Brown, Ogbeni, and Obafemi. I imagine that's Malumbi sitting deep. It's
very attacking. That's not. I don't mind that, actually.
That's actually not bad, is it?
I think it's going to be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Graham, you're on the ball tonight. Israel 1, Republic of Ireland 1. We win in pens. Can't believe it's not on the box. Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 0. Probably. Graham's been quite on the money here tonight, lads. I think we should get an L accumulator going there. Irish Football Blog, how's it going? We're going for a record win tomorrow versus Armenia, currently 8-0 versus Malta in 1983. So going for the 9-0 tomorrow. 9-0.
Jesus. I would take 1-0 now.
I would take 9-1.
We have to start going through. We need to start winning games, and that's just going to alleviate the pressure. And I think we're getting better performances. And I think he's been unlucky. Results haven't come and stuff. You know, you think of the Qatar game when Robinson. I mean, we're not even talking about Callum Robinson, and yet he was the starting striker for us 3-4 games ago. So, like back in June, it just shows you how strange and fickle kind of international football is. But you know, we've got to win games. He needs to kind of really get that himself now, Kenny. That you know, there's no point saying, "Oh, we're really unlucky." And you know, I get the point that Damien Delaney and even Gary Breen are saying that the Nations League, you're supposed to be paired against comparative teams, aren't you? Scotland are better.
That's a big word for you, Martin.
Yeah, Scotland are a better team than us. You know, I don't think a lot of Irish fans realise that. You know, like Nick, he said it fantastically well the other day. Whether you like McTominay or not, he's in a Premier League team and he's playing in midfield most weeks in and out. So is McGinn. We haven't got that calibre of player yet, and we're building towards that. Our performance has been better. I'm happier as a fan watching us try something different instead of going up to Glasgow. We've been under a Martin O'Neill. We'd have gone there, tried a little bit, huffed and puffed, long ball, try and win 1-0. But no, but then do we want to be watching that shite? You're not going to get out of groups doing that. You're not. No. They're actually making it easier now. Like even we're going to be with the structure of Nations League now. We're going to be probably in a playoff spot wherever we look at for the Euros, and we're going to be third seed, and we're going to have two good. Like we'll have great trips, of course, but we're going to get tough games.
Yeah, I want to see us playing good football, not just going there to make up the numbers. You know, people are going, you know, but the tournaments inspire kids. Did 2012 inspire anybody? Yeah, maybe Gaelic players, rugby players. Didn't inspire anyone to play fucking football, that's for sure. You know, and you know what annoyed me about everything annoyed me about the Damien Delaney comments, but you know, we're not beating the teams in and around us. We've never beaten teams in and around us. Yeah. Trap, Bulgaria 1-1 constantly. You know, Montenegro 0-0 both games. You know, and that I could go on and on. And we never beat teams in and around us. We actually
like fair play. Like he's a pundit now. And he's trying to make his name with that and stuff. But he wasn't a massive success as a player for Ireland, was he? So
no, and he refused to play. But let's wrap this up, lads. Let's wrap this up and get through the last few comments here. Irish Football Blog again. Coincidentally, our biggest defeat ever was a year prior, 7-0 versus Brazil in 1982. Yep, it was supposed to be Argentina and Trinidad and Tobago. And during the Falklands War, and we lost Trinidad and Tobago 2-1. Darrell O'Connor, I'd be optimistic our under 21s do tomorrow. Pity it wasn't on another day to the senior. We could go watch the whole thing. We watched it at a function in Glasgow, selling cans of tennis for £4.10. And Darrell concludes, Glasgow wasn't as cheap as we thought. No. Graham Farrell has the last quote of the day. Big Shane and Delaney, thick as pig shite. Yes, they are. Thank you so much, guys, for all your comments and your interaction. I'm around tomorrow. I'll be around the Irish Townhouse. Martin will be around if you need any tickets. Nick, we might see him around. I do love you, Martin. Don't worry. Sort of. Anyway, we're gonna go. Thank you so much.
We'll have some stickers with us as well.
Yeah, we'll have loads of stickers. If you want some stickers, go see your man. Tickets too, all that good stuff. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you boys in green. All right.